around us. So where from this data is gathered? This data is gathered from everywhere. That is through internet, through what you can say, newspapers, news articles, uh, or videos, audios, any form of data. Huge amount of data is available with us. Right? So whenever there is a huge amount of data, so we need to handle that data properly. So how to handle that data, what to do about that? So we are going to see this in this data mining. Okay. Let me admitting all the people if they are waiting. Okay. Right. Okay. Only 24 people have been admitted right now. Right. So let's start with it. So in this session, we are going to see why data mining, what is data mining, what kinds of data that can be mined, what kinds of patterns can be mined, what kinds of technologies that are used for data mining, what kinds of applications which are targeted, major issues in data mining, a brief history of data mining and data mining society, and summary of all this. So let's start. Why data mining? So why do we need to mine the data? Now, first of all, let me ask you, what is mining? You would be knowing the word gold mining. So what is gold mining? Gold mining is mining the gold from the raw soil. So whenever you have a soil, you have to perform some of the actions, so something on that raw soil to get or to extract the gold from that soil. So likewise, we have a huge amount of data around us. So if we mine that data, we get something from that. Now what we can get from that, let us know about this. So the explosive growth of data, that is from terabytes to petabytes. Lots of data, petabytes and terabytes of data is available with us. What are the data collection or where from this data is available? So data is available from automated data collection tools, database systems, web, computerized society, right? Now, what are the major sources of this abundant amount of data? So the major sources is business, that is web applications, e-commerce, transactions, stock market, etc., etc. Second major source is science. So remote sensing, bioinformatics, scientific simulation, all this data is available with us. The third major source is society and everyone. So society and everyone means news, digital cameras, digital cameras, and YouTube, etc. These are also a source of data. Now we are drowning in this data, but starving for knowledge. What do you mean that? So out of this data, we have a huge amount of data. Can we convert this data into a knowledge? Yes. So necessity is the mother of invention. So data mining is a automated analysis of massive data sets. So all this huge amount of data is available with all of us. Now what we can do with this data? For example, if we type in something in a Google, your search engine, how much data will be available with Google from the search engine? For example, say in 1 second, how many people would be searching from the Google search engine? I don't know. There might be millions and trillions of people searching in 1 second from the search engine. So if I record this search data, how much data I will be getting here? So there is a huge amount of data. Per second, the data is growing fastly. So exploitation of data is there. So what to do with this all data? So to do something or to mine this data, to get the knowledge out of this data, we need data mining. Now, this is the reason why do we need data mining. What is data mining actually? What is data mining? Data mining is knowledge discovery from data, which is also termed as KDD. The process is also called as KDD. That is knowledge discovery from data. Now, what knowledge can be discovered? So, it is also called as extraction of interesting. That is non-trivial. It's non-important. Non-important means it's not private, personal, implicit, previously unknown, and potentially useful patterns or knowledge from huge amount of data. So, what is data mining is? It's the extraction of interesting patterns or knowledge from huge amount of data. So what are the alternative names for this data mining? The alternative names is knowledge discovery in databases, that is KDD. Knowledge discovery in databases, knowledge extraction, data or pattern analysis, data archaeology, data dredging, information harvesting, business intelligence, etc., etc., etc. These are the alternative names for this data mining. So what kind of data that can be mined? Is everything data mining? Yes. Simple search and query processing, expert system. So what is the difference between this simple search and query processing and data mining? There is a huge difference in that. So we will get to know to it afterwards. So this is the definition of a data mining. So what is actually data mining is, like we mine the data, we mine the gold from the raw soil. In the same way, we can mine the data and extract knowledge from it. So what kind of knowledge can be extracted? For example, if you want to start one business, so if you collect some kind of a data, like how many, suppose you are searching for a location. So which location is useful for you? How many people visit that location to start your new business or whatever you want? So this data, if you gather, you will get the information out of it that this is the place wherein a lot of people visit every day, what they are demanding for. So you can find it like this and you can start with your new business. So for whichever purpose you want the knowledge for starting something. So normally knowledge is the base for data mining. So you will be getting the interesting patterns or knowledge from the huge amount of data. For the same purpose, we use the data mining. Now, what is the process? Knowledge discovery or KDD process. So this diagram, you might be seeing this diagram. What this diagram is showing, just see the diagram. This is a view from typical database systems and data warehousing communities. Data mining plays an essential role in the knowledge discovery process. Now this diagram shows you the whole process of knowledge discovery, that is KDD process. That is mining the data from mining the knowledge from the data. Now at this low point, this is a databases, that is a huge amount of data which is available with us. What is the first step is data cleaning. So whatever data we have gathered, we have to clean the data. Sometimes the data has some kind of noise or something like that. So we have to clean the data. After that, we have to integrate the data. What is data integration? there is several platforms from which we can gather the data. The platforms can be media, it can be digital content, it can be paper content, or it can be anything. It can be pictures, it can be graphs, it can be any form of data can be there. So this data has to be integrated first of all, okay, and then data cleaning process is done. After that, the cleaned and integrated data is kept in a data warehouse. Here what comes is a data warehouse. What is a data warehouse? It is a kind of a warehouse. What is a warehouse? Normally, warehouse is used to dump the material, right? So data, if we treat a data as a material, so the data is dumped in this warehouse. But this data is cleaned data is actually kept in a data warehouse. After that, selection is performed. What is data selection? For example, if I want to select or if I want to search for the data or from for the information that I want to get the salary range, that is from 50,000 to 1 lakh salary people, I want to I just want to search this kind of a data. So I will select my data accordingly. So I can remove the data which is unwanted for me and select the data which is task relevant data, which is called as task relevant data. So suppose I want to find the data like the persons who are at a managerial position only, I want to get the data about that, or the students who are studying postgraduate courses, I want to get that type of data. So this is called as a task relevant data. So this task relevant data is selected from this data warehouse. What is this data warehouse? Actually, what is the difference between your simple DBMS system and data warehouse? There is a huge difference. Simple DBMS system stores the day-to-day transactions, but data warehouse stores the what you can say is the composition of all this data. For example, my day-to-day transaction has monthly single day data, but my data warehouse would be containing the month-wise data or year-wise data or business year-wise data like that. So there is a difference between DBMS system and data warehouse. So from this data warehouse, we will select the data which is proper or relevant for our task, and this task relevant data is selected. After that, the mining is performed on this data, whatever the data we have actually sorted out from this data warehouse. This is the data mining. What is data mining? So performing the data mining is applying various kinds of algorithms which we have for data mining, and then after performing the data mining we can extract the patterns. Okay, so pattern evaluation. So this is a patterns. For example, if I want to know which area of the Pune has a higher paying capacity, so that area pattern we will be available with these patterns, and from this pattern we can extract the knowledge. So this is the process. This is the knowledge discovery process. It's called as KDD process. So first of all, data integration, data cleaning, keep the data in a data warehouse, then select the task relevant data, perform data mining, and then extract the patterns. So this diagram will show you what is the process for knowledge discovery. Now, how this process is done. So input data is here. First step is data pre-processing. Where pre-processing is shown, this one. Before storing the data in a data warehouse, data pre-processing is done. What is pre-processing? So input data is processed. What what is the data pre-processing? So there are four major what you can say major points in data pre-processing. First of all, data integration, data normalization, feature selection, and dimension reduction. Now, what are these? This we are going to see later on. So this is data pre-processing tasks. So these are the four tasks which are performed in data pre-processing. After this pre-processing, data mining is done. What is data mining? Is selecting appropriate algorithm which is suitable for our task and applying that algorithm to our data. There are various kinds of algorithms available. For example, pattern discovery, association and correlation, classification, clustering, outlier analysis. This kind of data mining algorithms are available with us. After performing these data mining algorithms, we get the patterns. We get the patterns, this graphical pattern. This is called as pattern evaluation. So this is called post processing. So these patterns, so pattern evaluation, pattern selection, pattern interpretation and pattern visualization. There are various kinds of visualization tools available. For example, you know, when you process a query, right? So after query processing, you can list the whatever the output of your query in a table. So that is a tabular format. Can I show this data in different formats? Yes, I can show it in the form of graph. I can show it in the form of various kinds of visualization tools are available. So we can show my data in any of the formats called as visualization. So when we get that pattern, actually that is evaluated, the pattern which is suitable for our task is selected. After that it is interpreted. Pattern interpretation is also very important because nobody will be able to know what this graph is showing. So that is called a pattern interpretation, and then pattern visualization. After that, pattern information knowledge. After that, the knowledge is process. So this is actually the KDD process. That is the steps involved in this knowledge discovery from data. Now, this is a view from typical machine learning and statistics communities. So we have seen why data mining, what is data mining, a multidimensional view of data mining. So what kinds of data that can be mined? Now, what kinds of data that can be mined? So any kind of a data can be mined. Database data, their data warehouse data, transactional data. So what is the difference between transactional data and data warehouse data that I already have told you? That the day-to-day transaction is stored in a DBMS like Oracle and all that DBMS. So day-to-day transaction data is stored in that, and data warehouse contains the data which is clean data, integrated data, and like sorted data, which is not a day-to-day transaction. So that is stored in a data warehouse. So database data, data warehouse data, data transactional data, this all kinds of data can be mined. Okay. Now, what kind of patterns that can be mined? So what do you mean by pattern? What kind of patterns that can be mined? So this is data mining functionalities. Data mining functionalities includes, if you see the diagram, data mining functionalities include predictive data mining and descriptive data mining. So what is the difference between predictive and descriptive? So what is prediction and what is description? For example, if you go to a doctor, he will prescribe you something. What is prescription? Is if you have certain kinds of a disease, he will give you some medicines. So by assuming that you have you are been you are suffering with such kind of a disease, he will prescribe you some kind of a medicine. This is called as predictive technique. And what is descriptive? Descriptive means, for example, you have the data, you just go through that data and you just describe. For example, patient, some patient is coming to me as a doctor for 10 times. I can describe that this patient has a BP, this patient has a diabetes, this patient has certain kinds of diseases. What the person is suffering from, I can describe that. So this is description. So there are two types of mining: predictive data mining and descriptive data mining. In predictive mining, we will suggest something to the user, and descriptive data mining in which we will describe about the data to the user. Now there are various predictive data mining algorithms such as classification algorithm, prediction algorithm, regression algorithm. For descriptive data mining, we have clustering algorithm, characterization algorithms, association rules. So this kind of all algorithms we are going to see in our syllabus. Now, data mining function, first of all, characterization and discrimination. What do you mean by data characterization and data discrimination? So what is data characterization? Summarization of the general characteristic of a target class of data to study the characteristic of specific group of data. So as an example which I have told you, as a doctor, one person is visiting that doctor many a times, so he can summarize the data about that patient, that what actually medicines he has already taken, what diseases he already has. So this kind of a character, for example, I have the data of the student, so I know the characteristics of the student, for example, where from, what is the place he belongs to, what is his graduation degree, like that. So this is a characterization of the data. Second one is data discrimination. Comparison of general features of target class data against contrasting classes. So this is discrimination, means comparison. For example, if I want to discriminate, suppose a group of people, I want to discriminate the people who are getting the salary between the range 10 to 20,000 and the person who are getting above 50,000. So this is data discrimination. So this is expressed in the form of rules called discriminant rules. So you will get to know it later on. So data mining functions and association and correlation analysis. So what is this association? So what we are actually going through this is what we have seen data mining functionalities. So what are these functionalities? What they are used for? So that we are seeing here one by one. So data mining function, association and correlation analysis. Association and correlation analysis is used for mining frequent patterns. What items are frequently purchased together in your wallet? So what is association and correlation or mining frequent patterns? What is mining frequent patterns? For example, you visit DMart, one person visits DMart, or many people visit to DMart. Now, how can DMart analyze the data, purchase data? For example, DMart can analyze the data that what items are frequently purchased together. For example, if a customer purchases milk, what is the possibility that he will purchase ghee, or he will purchase sugar, or he will purchase the items which can go with the milk, right? Or for example, if you purchase a computer, so what is the possibility that you will purchase a printer? So this is called association rule, or it is called mining frequent patterns, which is also known as market basket analysis. So when a person go to a market, in one person's basket, which items are generally are purchased together or packed together is called as market basket analysis. So this is simple association rule, that if a person buys computer, what are the chances that he will buy a printer? So this rule is given over here. If a person buys computer, then 75% are the chances that he will buy a printer. Now, what is this support and confidence? Support means out of my transactions, 5% transactions support this rule, and I have a confidence of 75%. Now, how to calculate this confidence and support? So, some mathematical formulas are there to calculate all these things. So, association rule is kind of a pattern, it's kind of a data mining technique. Then how to mine such patterns and rule efficiently in large data sets? How to use such patterns for classification, clustering, and other applications? That is in this association and correlation analysis it is given. Now, data mining functions, classification and regression analysis. So what is classification and label prediction? What is class actually? So we know generally what are the classes. Suppose according to the economical status of a person, we know there is a middle class, lower class, or higher class. Okay. So what is middle class? What is lower class? What is higher class? What actually what are the things which discriminate all this? So these are called as models, right? So classification model. For example, your classes, you get the degree. So you get first class, second class, distinction. These are classifications. So what are the rules for this classification? For example, a student is having a greater than 50%, we call him is a this his second class. If a student has more than 60%, he is a first class. If a student is more than 70%, we call it as a distinction class. So these are the different classifications. So we have the different kinds of classification techniques. So for that we have to construct models or functions based on some training examples. So likewise, your classes have been formatted already. That 50% is a second class, 60 is a. So this is the rule. Okay, that is already constructed. So we can construct these models, these rules or functions based on some training examples. Describe and distinguish classes or concepts for future prediction. So why these classes are used? Now this, whatever the models we have constructed, we can use this to describe and distinguish classes. For example, if I formulated one class here that above 50% is a second class, above 60% is a first class, I can group my data accordingly in the future. So first of all, to label the data, I have to construct the model. Then I can describe and distinguish classes or concepts for future prediction. For example, classify countries based on climate or classify cars based on gas mileage. Predict some unknown class labels. So here we can predict some unknown class labels. What are the typical methods for this classification? So the typical methods are decision trees, new Bayesian classification, support vector machines, neural networks, rule-based classification, pattern-based classification, logistic regression. Various methods are available for this classification. What are the typical applications for this classification? Credit card fraud detection. Credit card fraud detection, direct marketing, classifying stars, diseases. Okay, so these are the typical applications for this classification or label prediction, predictive data mining techniques. So what is credit card fraud detection? How we can detect the fraud in a credit card? So depending upon the rules which are in the classes which we have constructed. So from that we can detect it. Direct marketing, we can use these rules for direct marketing. For example, if I form some rule, if I construct some or class label, for example, the person who are earning more than 50,000 rupees, so that class will be different. I can use a different marketing technique for them. I can use different marketing technique for student class. I can use different marketing technique for other kind of classes. So direct marketing is also this is also used for all these applications. Now, what are data mining functions? Fourth one is a cluster analysis. What is cluster analysis? Is also known as unsupervised learning. That is where class level is unknown. For example, group data to form new categories, that is clusters. For example, cluster houses to find distribution patterns. Now, what is clustering? For example, I want to know that how many people are suffering from COVID-19 according to the area. So I will collect the data What is this area? Each area will become a cluster. For example, Aun, Paneer, Balewadi is one cluster. Your what you can say, Shivaji Nagar is one cluster. Your Hadapsar is another cluster. So these are all clusters. Okay. So these clusters, these are called clusters. Now, when these clusters are found, we can apply or we can have different types of data. We can analyze different types of data through these clusters. That in Baner Balewadi, there are less COVID-19 patients, or in Shivajinagar, there are higher COVID-19 patients, like that. So what is principle here is maximizing intra-class similarity and minimizing inter-class similarity. There are many methods and applications for this. Now, what is the principle of clustering? What is a cluster? Cluster, as I have already told you, a cluster, for example, Shivajinagar cluster and Aun cluster. Okay, so there are several clusters, and in one cluster there is a data, and another cluster there is a data. So when two clusters are there, so in these two clusters, in the two clusters, that is intra-class similarity, maximum intra-class means in one clusters all data should be same, and in another cluster all data should be same, but within that two different clusters should be dissimilar. Okay. So you will get it to know afterwards, no problem about it, don't worry about it. And the last one function is a outlier analysis. Outlier analysis is, outlier. What is outlier? For example, many of people come at time at its fixed time in the class, and many of them, some of the student or one of the student has a habit that he always comes late. Okay, so what is the late comer is the outlier in the class. So this is outlier. Outlier, a data object that does not comply with the general behavior of the data, or you can say it as a noise or exception. One person's garbage could be another person's treasure. So if we call this outlier as a garbage, it can be treasure for us. Now, how it can be treasure, that we'll see later on. Methods, what are the methods? Byproduct of clustering or regression analysis. How we can find this outlier? This is a byproduct of clustering or regression analysis. What is the application of this outlier analysis? Is useful in fraud detection, rare events analysis, and all that. This is called outlier analysis. So these are all what kind of patterns that can be mined. So what kind of patterns, depending upon which algorithm or which functionality you have used. Patterns means functionalities. So kinds of functionalities we have seen over here. Now what kinds of technologies that are used? What kind of technologies are used? So let us see this. Data mining is a confluence of multiple disciplines. So when you talk about data mining, let me check whether anyone wants the permission to enter. Okay. Let me check. Nobody wants the permission to enter into the class. Yeah, I know. Anyone wants the permission to enter into the class? No one wants the permission. Okay. Let me. Now, what is data mining? Confluence of multiple disciplines. So data mining actually it's a branch which is a combination of multiple branches. So what is the basis of data mining? So data mining uses machine learning, data mining uses pattern recognition, data mining uses statistics, data mining uses visualization, data mining uses high performance computing, data mining uses database technology, data mining uses algorithms, and data mining uses application. So data mining uses all these kinds of disciplines. So it's a multiple discipline topic. So data mining uses all these kinds of applications to achieve the data mining uh, functionality. Now, why confluence of multiple disciplines? So why do we need all these multiple disciplines? Tremendous amount of data. So algorithms must be scalable to handle big data. High dimensionality of data, microarray may have tens of thousands of dimensions. High complexity of data, data streams and sensor data, time series data, temporal data, sequence data. So this is high complexity data. Spatial, spatio-temporal data, multimedia data, text and web data, software programs, scientific simulations, and new and sophisticated applications. So these all multiple disciplines we need to integrate to handle such type of data. Now, what kind of applications are targeted? So, what kind of applications that are targeted for data mining? Applications of data mining, web page analysis. From web page classification, clustering to page rank, and hits algorithms. Now, what is web page analysis? So, if suppose you type in some kind of a search, Google search, you type in something, which page will come first? So, who is going to decide the rank of the page? So, some algorithms are used to decide the rank of the page. Hits algorithms are there. Page classification algorithms are there. So, this is web page analysis. Now, collaborative analysis and recommender systems. For example, you purchase something, you download the app, any kind of a e-commerce app you download, you will get some recommendations. So on what basis these recommendations you will get? So this is called collaborative analysis. So and recommender systems. So all these apps or all these systems have some kind of a recommender systems. So if you purchase something, they will recommend you some type of items so that you will be able to purchase it later on. So this is called recommender system. Basket data analysis to targeted mining. Now, what is basket data analysis is? For example, go to a market. What is the content in my basket? So that basket is analyzed to targeted marketing. So, for example, when I go in the next, when I purchase the next time, they can suggest me what to purchase depending upon my last purchases. So this is called basket data analysis. Biological and medical data analysis, classification, cluster analysis, biological sequence analysis, biological network analysis, data mining and software engineering from major dedicated data mining system or tools like SAS, NSSQL, Server Analysis Manager, Oracle data mining tools to invisible data mining. So all these are the applications of data mining. Now, what are the major issues in data mining? Major issues in mining methodology. As you know, there are various new kinds of knowledge has to be incorporated. So it becomes difficult. Mining knowledge in multidimensional space, data mining and interdisciplinary effort, boosting the power of discovery in a network environment, handling noise, uncertainty, and incompleteness of data. So are the major issues in a data mining. Pattern evaluation and pattern or constraint guided mining. User interaction, interactive mining, incorporation of background knowledge, presentation and visualization of data mining results. So these are all the major issues which is faced by data mining nowadays. Now efficiency and scalability, diversity of data types, data mining and the society, efficiency and scalability of data mining algorithms, parallel, distributed, stream and incremental data mining methods, diversity of data types, handling complex types of data, mining dynamic, network and global data repositories, data mining and the society, social impacts of data mining. So what is the social impact of the data mining? Privacy preserving data mining and invisible data mining. So these are some kind of issues that is faced by data mining. So let us discuss the summary. Data mining is a discovering interesting patterns and knowledge from massive amount of data, a natural evolution of science and information technology in great demand with wide applications. A KDD process includes data cleaning, data integration, data selection, transformation, data mining, pattern evaluation, and knowledge presentation. Mining can be performed in a variety of data. Data mining functionalities, characterization, discrimination, association, classification, clustering, trend and outlier analysis, etc. Data mining technologies and applications and major issues in data mining. So all this we have seen in a today's lecture. Thank you so much. So here I will end with my PPT.